Conditioning. Such a generic term for a very intricate topic. If you want to take your training to the next level, it's time to get past the train till you puke or just get sweaty mindset. Conditioning is the concept of increasing the efficiency and capacity of our energy systems. These include ATP-PCR, anaerobic glycolysis, and aerobic oxidation. I'll link a video that goes more in depth on those at the top of the screen for those that are interested. Training energy systems follows the same principles of progressive overload that we are familiar with many other styles of training. We need to first meet the individual where they're at and make small incremental changes to either the intensity, the volume, or the frequency of the activities. Too much too soon can lead to slower recoveries, increased risk of injury, and symptoms of overtraining. The first system we're going to talk about training is the ATP-PCR system. This is the one we use with sprinting, agility work, and weightlifting. The mode of exercise doesn't really matter, but most commonly we're going to see short sprints, spin bike sprints, plyometrics, and change of direction drills. What does matter most is the intensity of the activity, the duration of the activity, and the work to rest ratio. When training the ATP-PCR system, we aim for high intensity, meaning an RPE, or rate of perceived exertion, of 9 or 10 out of 10, or a heart rate zone reaching zone 4 or 5. The duration should only last between 5 and 10 seconds, with a large amount of rest in between. Most literature suggests using a work-to-rest ratio between 1 in 12 and 1 in 20. An example of a 1 in 12 would be 5 seconds on and a minute off. Despite its intensity, training the ATP-PCR system often feels like it takes less effort than some other systems. This is one of the reasons that HIIT training has become so popular. Moving to the glycolytic system, this is our activities that are still relatively high intensity, but they're lasting up to 3 minutes. This is going to be your longer sprints, your high rep resistance training, and swim races. Again, the mode doesn't really matter, but often indoors we see the rowers, the ski ergs, and the spin bikes being popular options, while outdoor we may see over and backs or gassers on a turf, or anywhere from that 150 to 800 meter sprints on a track. When it comes to programming this system, we tend to split it into 2 subcategories. The first lasting 15 to 45 seconds at an RPE of 8 to 9.5, with that heart rate remaining in zone 4, and a work to rest ratio between 1 in 3 and 1 to 5. For activities lasting longer than a minute, it's unlikely to be able to maintain an RPE much above 9, as that oxidative system we're going to talk about in a minute does start to get involved. So the intensity often falls into that upper 7 range, with a heart rate remaining in zone 4, and a work to rest ratio still 1 in 3 to 1 in 4. This is the system most associated with the phrase, learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. On to the oxidative system, where we need oxygen present in our cells to produce energy. This is going to be your jogging, your running, your hiking, your cycling, any of your endurance activities, as well as many of your activities during daily life. Again, the mode doesn't really matter, but we do need to choose a modality that we don't mind being at for a while. If you've ever noticed in the gym, the ellipticals, treadmills, and recumbent bikes tend to be a little bit more comfortable than an assault bike or a spin bike, and also located near a source of entertainment. While outside, people tend to choose jogging or cycling so that they can have a change of scenery along their exercise route. Training the oxidative system has an almost endless amount of methods. Anything lasting longer than 3 minutes is considered oxidative. So threshold runs that build through zone 3 into zone 4 would be the intense end of the oxidative system, focused on burning carbohydrates as fuel. Tempo and fartlek runs would be more moderate. When we use intervals such as that fartlek run, we aim for a work to rest ratio of between 1 to 1 and 1 to 3. For the lower intensity end of the oxidative spectrum, we have those beloved long runs, along with recovery runs and walking. Here we try to keep in that zone 2 heart rate or the lower end of zone 3. The lower the intensity and the longer the duration of exercise, the higher ratio of fat we begin to utilize as a fuel source. This is important for endurance athletes who really need to be able to utilize both carbs and fats as fuel sources, but not as important for our team sport athletes. I will mention our last potential source for oxidation is protein through gluconeogenesis. However, it's not one we really ever train for. Protein is really only used as a fuel source when blood sugars are completely depleted or during the recovery process when protein ends up in the bloodstream after a really intense exercise. Very little research has been done on using protein as a fuel source, as the focus on individuals found in this state is treatment rather than experimentation. Whether you're aiming to break records or increase your fitness levels, understanding your energy systems is key to programming your conditioning. Stay tuned for a discussion on the role supplements have on these energy systems. And if you found value in this video, please hit that like, share, and subscribe to the Iron Darling. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye!